Alright guys, so today I'm doing a video on Monday Night Raw 2015, March 9th. And my god, I felt like I was watching the most boring fucking show I could ever watch. Once again, WWE proves how retarded they are mentally and creatively. So, let's start things off. Not to mention, they're very fucking confusing. To say the least. One minute they're doing adult things like showing shades of the Attitude Era, and then the next minute they're doing things that a child would do, and to be honest with you, I think a child has more maturity, is more mature than what these dumbasses were trying to give us on national television last Monday night. So starting off here, we go ahead, we get an introduction promo, going ahead and dealing with, basically Randy Orton's thing with Seth Rollins. They do some build-up there, and Randy Orton does some really cool things, says some really cool things that he normally doesn't do. He showed a lot more charisma than he ever has in his career, I think. Most of his time in his career has been very much more straight acting and whatnot, but he told them really the reality of their characters. They're a bunch of whining bitches, they're cutthroat pieces of shit, and saying pretty much that he wanted to kill Seth Rollins and break his fucking neck in a sort of sense and make him his bitch. Very good, decent promo. I liked it. It showed emotion. He had passion, and it felt real. It didn't feel like, hey, I'm just trying to say my lines and that's it, and moving on with the show kind of thing. He, at the end, he said, "Oh, I'm joking." That's when the promo got kind of a little dumb, in my opinion, really, because why would he say all those things and then say he was just joking just to later on set him up, which later on he does. Just a little headline before I get into the main event, which was Randy Orton, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. So, they're all laughing and go, ah, and Seth Rollins starts cracking up, laughing with the weirdest laugh I ever heard from any person in the world. It was probably the most phoniest laugh I ever heard. So, it was pretty ridiculous, to be perfectly blunt with you guys about this. But it was pretty pathetic. I think that was probably the worst acting job I've ever heard from Seth Rollins in anything he's done in promos. I mean, he's shown some pretty bad acting, but not as bad as that. That was just a horrible laugh. I couldn't believe how pathetic that was. But moving on, so this video isn't so long. I understand I have made some pretty long videos, and I don't want to bore you guys with this shit, because that's really what it is. It's boring as shit. So, moving on. Our first match of the night, we had Daniel Bryan defeat Bad News Barrett. It was an okay match. Really, to be honest with you guys, it could have been way better. I mean, it's Daniel Bryan. He's one of the best, and right now they're just making Daniel Bryan completely stale. News about what I've heard. Daniel Bryan, from what I heard from earlier today, he made a mention that he's pretty disappointed in what he's doing, but he feels that they're trying to do what's best for the company, and he's just going along with it because he's a team player, and I can respect that, but he deserves a whole lot more than this. I mean, he doesn't even seem like he's really a part of this mid-card match even. I mean, it's like he's just there. It doesn't even make any sense. It's just completely illogical and dumb. I mean, he should be the star of the show with Dean Ambrose and Bad News Barrett. To be honest with you, those are the three main guys I really look at as being the whole enchilada of this match. Those are the three men that stand out in all of this. The rest of them are just a bunch of jobbers that are there doing their thing, and Dolph Ziggler, not to mention him. straight up, it should have been a fatal 4-way ladder match with those 4 guys. Those are your star power guys in this match. The rest of them are just a bunch of throw-ins. And Stardust being in there, I have no idea. I thought he was still feuding with Goldust, but who really cared? That thing was going nowhere anyway. It was really stupid. And they need to bring back Cody Rhodes, because this Stardust thing is just fucking retarded. Anyway, next match that came up was continuation to the build-up for the Intercontinental title between Dean Ambrose and Stardust. Dean Ambrose won the match. Pretty bland, short match. Nothing too exciting to talk about. They screw around with the belt. R-Truth once again is, trying to steal the championship, but keeps on talking about how he's afraid of being afraid of heights, and he doesn't want to climb up a ladder to grab the belt, but that's the only way you can win the match. Don't quite understand why then he's even in the match, but what does it matter? It's WWE. They don't have to make sense. Ain't I funny? Yeah, right. They're a fucking joke, and they're not funny even. It's not even a funny joke. It's just pathetic. So then we get a really strong, good promo after all this BS that went on. And I don't want to even get on to what happened later on in that whole segment with Barrett and R-Truth. It was the most silliest, childish thing, and that's what I was stressed earlier in this video. They went from having Shades of Attitude Era in their event to being childish, where a child is more mature than this shit. So we get a promo, though, from Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, I don't even understand the point of him even fucking being there. He didn't say one fucking word. He just stood there, held the belt on his shoulder, and let Paul Heyman do his talking for him. I mean, my God, it seems like Paul Heyman is more the guy that's doing... It seems like he's doing the match, and Brock Lesnar shouldn't even be there. I mean, if you could give Paul Heyman Brock Lesnar's body and have Paul Heyman's brain, I think you'd have a hell of a match between Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns, to be honest with you guys. But that would be kind of creepy. But yeah, it was a very good promo. They did a nice video job with Roman Reigns, building him up. He was believable, but again, like everyone has said, and I totally agree with the opinions on this, Roman Reigns really isn't ready for any of this. He's a guy that, I mean, he's more, to be honest with you, he's like a test tool for this whole situation. Seeing how he, runs through being the champion. If things go alright, great, we'll keep the belt on him. If not, we can always find another champion. I totally feel okay with that idea. Only one problem. Why the fuck didn't they just go with Daniel Bryan? They already know he's ready. He's already one of the most overliked characters on their whole entire fucking show, so why didn't they just go with him? Okay, Brock Lesnar's stiff in his matches. He takes the matches very seriously. He acts like it's fucking real, which I don't understand why. I think it's completely idiotic, but yeah, that's Brock Lesnar for you. Thankfully he's leaving because he's a lazy bastard who would rather go into fucking UFC and possibly get another concussion and have his fucking brains removed. Which I'm totally fine with. I'd be more than happy to watch him get his ass kicked at this point, because I'm really getting sick and tired of him and his whole, I don't want to be at the event week after week after week just to promote a fucking match, for God's sakes, man. It's freaking ridiculous. So yeah, we get a good promo with Paul Heyman and a lot of emotion in this, so I felt great about this whole build-up. It got my interest somewhat. A lot better than what Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns is fucking doing. It's pathetic. I mean, Roman Reigns should be having promos with Brock Lesnar. Instead, he never even showed up. They had a promo video of him, which wasn't bad, like I just said, but still, it was fucking retarded. We get Erick, Rowan, and Ryback versus the Authority with Big Show and Kane, and they get defeated, Kane and Big Show, by Erick, Rowan, and Ryback. Okay, whatever. That match sucked. Didn't even hardly pay attention to it. We also get a promo backstage with John Cena and uh, Rusev, and they exchanged words, and it seemed like I think it's pretty cool little rivalry they got going between them two. But why the U.S. title's got to be on the line? I mean, let's be honest. The man's won. John Cena's won, freaking, 15 World Heavyweight Championship matches to become the champion. Then you're going to drag him back to U.S. title land? I mean, I know I said a month ago in February that, might put prestige into the U.S. title, but really, is it absolutely necessary? Truthfully, I think they should just unify the U.S. and Intercontinental title at this point and do that. I think that should have been the deal for WrestleMania. Him losing the belt to John Cena, I think, would be a bad thing to Rusev if they're trying to push him and give him, push him in an upper level type of in their program. If they're not doing that, then what was all this big hoorah hype about Rusev and then fucking make him lose to John Cena and lose the belt and possibly endanger him to look pathetic than he already probably does to John Cena with that segment out in the ring after he went ahead and made a statement about the U.S. sucking and then going ahead and getting his ass kicked by John Cena. So I don't know. I really don't know where the hell this company's going. It doesn't look like they have a fucking brain in their head worth a damn, but who gives a shit? I'm not going to rant forever about this because I'm really getting tired of it. So we go ahead, we get AJ Lee defeating Summer Rae. Nothing big deal. Who fucking cares? I happened to mess up with the order of the promo and of Rusev, and actually Rusev faced Curtis Axel, beat him in 26 seconds, which I didn't even notice because I didn't even care. So we get some other match. Pointless bullshit. New Day versus fucking Cesaro with Big E Langston and Xavier Woods with Kofi Kingston on the side versus Cesaro, Tyson Kidd with Natalya, and the tag team champions lose to these guys. Where in the world did the New Day become all of a sudden important? They weren't doing nothing. They haven't done anything. They're not that big of a deal. And they're just basically the same freaking characters they were. They didn't change anything about them, not make anything unique about them. They're just the same people just put together in a group. I mean, it's just freaking dumb. And you make your tag team champions lose to these nobodies? I mean, this is ridiculous. That doesn't make any logical sense to me. I mean, I wouldn't make a champion lose to a nobody. That's dumb as shit. I guess maybe they're trying to go with an idea of a fatal four-way tag team match for the titles, but from what I heard, they weren't planning on doing that. Apparently, they must have changed their mind. These people don't know what the fuck they want to do. They're like a girl on a period. They don't know what the hell they want. No offense to any women. Then we have, okay, so we have Naomi, then after that, they instantly had the Usos come out with Naomi, and have her defeat Natalya. Again, Natalya is part of the tag team champions group, and she loses on top of it. I mean, you're making champions lose? I mean, what the hell's wrong with you people? Have them win some matches. What are you guys, have them in a downward spiral? You might as well say you're telling your audience they're going to lose the belt at WrestleMania. I mean, what the fuck's wrong with these people? Give away spoilers before you even hear a spoiler on the internet. My God, what the hell's wrong with you? So, after that, we get the Los Matadores versus the Usos, and the Usos lose to them. Okay, we have two good tag teams that have been competing for the tag team titles between the Cesaro and Tyson Kidd and the Usos, and they lose to nobody tag teams. like, they're not even well developed. They're not even in high level ranking for tag team championship gold, and they're freaking losing to these two shitbag teams. Once again, I gotta hand it to you, Vince. You really like to make people feel stupid and insult their intelligence. Keep up the good work. I hope you go out of business. Anyway, and I just watch this shit really because I love wrestling. And soon enough, just spoiler alert, in the next 2 days or so, I'm going to be giving a review on actual wrestling, not this bullshit. And I might stop doing this after a while. Because it's just getting repetitive and dumb. So we go ahead, and I'm getting also tired of saying dumb, so I'm going to try to figure out a new word to say in this whole review for the rest of the remainder of the review. So we go ahead and we get a good promo by Bray Wyatt and with the challenging to the Undertaker. And there was another thing by Sting, which I'll get into next. I know it wasn't in order, but who gives a shit? What does it matter? It's WWE, for God's sakes. So we go ahead and we get a promo by Bray Wyatt doing a thing by challenging the Undertaker. Good promo. Didn't have any issues with it. I'm getting a little sick and tired of the urn. I mean, it's a little bit of childish. It used to mean something, but after the years, it's become irrelevant, the urn. I don't see the point and reasoning behind it. I don't think it was even necessary, to be honest with you. But they made the urn act like it had powers, which, I mean, I guess it would be intriguing to a young kid. But, you know, people like adults like me, it just was kind of silly and childish. But no big deal. I shrug it off my back. Not a big freaking thing to make out of. And then you get like a little lightning bolt strike a chair after the lights go out. The lights come back on a little bit. And you see a light shining down on Bray Wyatt's rocking chair. What is he, a fucking old grandmother? And they strike a lightning bolt on it. Kind of cool because it, again, it brings back to when wrestling was actually good, and had realistic storyline build-up and all that BS. So he goes ahead, the lightning bolt strikes the chair, rocking chair gets set on fire, and Undertaker gives his big announcement saying, "You will rest in peace." Okay, we've heard all this BS before. How many times over and over again with the Yokozuna, the Randy Orton promos, all that shit, stating he's going to come and make them rest in peace in a match. Okay, great. Wonderful. Not too bad, but really it was a little too repetitive, and it was whatever. I could take it or leave it, to be honest with you, but it was nice to just hear the Undertaker's voice, but whatever. It wasn't even really the Undertaker of now, it was something a while back, I'm pretty sure. Or they pre-recorded it, whatever. So we go ahead and we get a promo from Sting. Now I've heard from people's reviews, some of the people's reviews, stating that wasn't Sting's voice. At first when I started hearing it, making his point across why he came back, I actually thought it wasn't his voice either. That is entirely untrue. That was actually his voice entirely. They slow-mode his voice to make it a dramatical feeling. I don't understand why the hell they would do that. I don't see the point or reasoning. I mean, it wouldn't have just hurt. It didn't make it any better. I mean, it just kind of made it seem stupid, I mean, it made, like me, as many of the other audience, believe that wasn't Sting's voice. In which case, I almost didn't believe it, but at certain points, it sounded like Sting's voice, and then it kind of drifted off into another kind of voice, and it was kind of weird, and I understood why. After a while, I realized they slow-mode it. And I don't understand why they needed to slow down his voice to make it more interesting to their audience. What, are they dumb? They can't understand in normal speed what Sting is saying? He talks too fast? I don't know. I mean, kind of a little question mark on WWE's, feelings towards their audience, but I'm getting really sick and tired of the insult towards my intelligence, but, whatever. They can go to hell for all I care at this point. And it wasn't bad, but it was kind of... It feels a little late for them to be doing a promo like this. This kind of scenario that they're doing with Triple H and Sting. I mean, couldn't he have just went ahead and said, I just... over the last 14 years, I've noticed you getting your way to the top, and you are, a very good wrestler, and you earned it, but you've also done things to get there, being political in the company, and getting what you want, and if you didn't, you came out with vengeance and all that, and, being there, noticing what you were doing at Survivor Series, I finally just decided to hell with this shit, and I came out and I fought you, and stopped you from doing what you were doing. They couldn't have just done something simplistic like that. I mean, it was kind of similar to what I just said, but they went back in the WCW days. Like, that shit's, old as hell. What do they need to go back to the old stuff? What, to intrigue the older audience? You're already intriguing them enough with Triple H and Sting. I don't think you gotta do much more. I mean, going back to the old stuff just makes it feel like it's pointless fucking shit. That doesn't even need to be done. It makes the whole thing irrelevant. So, that was my whole thing on that, and I just thought it wasn't even necessary. They thought it was, I guess, to make it dramatical. I don't know, but slowing down his voice was really retarded. But that seems to be WWE's forte these days. Anyway, we go ahead, we get the main event finally. This shit went over 3 hours long. With commercials added into it, just makes it even worse. But we go ahead, we get to the main event finally. And it's Roman Reigns versus The Authority with Randy Orton and Seth Rollins in this one. And the match wasn't that intriguing. I mean, it was alright. It wasn't, a 5-star or even a 4-star match. I'd say maybe a 3 or 2.5-star match, to be honest with you. And I'm just being nice here. What I liked really about it was how Randy Orton stepped back and he flicked off Seth Rollins at the end of the match, stating he wasn't going to tag himself into this match, and hell with you, it's my time to kick your ass. But this is where it makes me, get confused. I thought we were in the PG era, where we're trying to be family friendly. I don't know where, giving the middle finger, the one finger salute to somebody is being family friendly. I mean, that's kind of like, you might as well just say what Stone Cold Steve Austin did in his time when he was popular as family friendly. I mean, here's the middle finger and enjoy, this is a little sign language to you. I mean, and that was great times, I can't deny it. A lot better than this shit. They were a lot more controversial. And a lot better. But, yeah, that's pretty much the show. Randy Orton after that, after Seth Rollins got pinned from a spear, Randy Orton came into the ring, said some pretty interesting things that made logical sense. Like, how could you be so stupid to believe that I actually would ever join this group, this faction, and be so fucking stupid to be with you guys? I mean, after you kicked my ass and tried to end my career, yeah, I don't quite think that's gonna work out too well for me. So, here's to you, fuck you, I'm gonna kick your ass, and that's what he did. And it was very good, and thankfully, finally he does an RKO on the table and it breaks the first time. He doesn't have to do it multiple times to make the fucking table break. So that was pretty good. So he didn't botch that or anything. But overall, show sucked, man. There's nothing to it. The show wasn't that intriguing. The show had some really good, again, they're doing good on the promos. But it's not... It doesn't feel anything like build up towards what they normally do towards a WrestleMania. I mean, last year seemed better build up towards WrestleMania than this year. This year just feels like a dull, boring show. That's all they seem to do now. Ever since they put that belt on Brock Lesnar, the shows just seem to get more and more dull. And I just intrigued by it. It doesn't make me excited to watch Raw. It just gives me something to do for 3 fucking hours. And to be honest with you, at this point, it's becoming so boring, it's not even worth 3 hours of watching. I keep watching it mainly just to, keep myself informed of what's going on in storylines and stuff like that. But, be honest with you, at this point, it's just getting so boring, it's like not even worth the time to even see what's going on and keep myself up to date with WWE and what's their whole scenario and what they're trying to build for the future. But anyway, that was just my rant. Hope you enjoyed the video. I know wasn't too much of a big hoorah. And what was there to be hoorah about? I mean, this whole fucking thing was ridiculous. Anyway, I hope WWE change their act or go out of business, because this shit's getting fucking annoying and boring as shit. There's other wrestling companies that are 10 times better than this crap, and I'm gonna start doing some reviews on those instead of doing this shit. But I'll give you a review once a week of Monday Night Raw until I finally get fed up of giving reviews about this crappy company and just calling it stupid and retarded all the time. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Speak to you guys later, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.